every single situation, you're finding a way to be the victim in life. Want to know why? Because it's easy to be the fucking victim nowadays, man. It's easy to just be the person who's always getting beat up. I can never catch a break. This never works out for me. Guess what? It doesn't work out for a lot of us. The people who find success on the other end of adversity are the people who are not willing to be an all-time victim.
You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks Podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.
What's up, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of your favorite podcast, the Roughnecks Podcast. If this is your favorite podcast, then you need to go to our website and grab yourself some awesome Roughnecks gear. Once you get there, you will realize that you are in luck because we are having a Christmas sale on our website. What better gift to get a loved one, or maybe even yourself, than some beautiful Roughnecks merch? You can head over to roughneckspodcast.com and get 20% off your order. But let's get in to today's guest. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. This might be released on a Wednesday. I think that's the plan as of now, but you know the deal. It's the same. It's the same as the Monday type episode. Don't forget, currently we are having sales on the website from the 11th to the 22nd. Everything on the website is 20% off if you need that little Christmas gift, or you just want to buy yourself something. Go for it. Q&A Friday. We have Q&A Friday number 13 coming out this Friday, the 15th. I think that's the date. I don't know. The 15th. Send your questions for Q&A Friday over to roughneckspodcast@gmail.com, or just message me on Instagram at roughneckspodcast. Every question that you ask, it automatically enters you into a random prize drawing. So definitely be sure to submit your questions and you may win a prize. Every question is an entry. But joining me today is a guest that has been on multiple times, once for a guest episode and once for a Q&A. And now back on for another guest episode, Jake Giffin. Welcome back to the Roughnecks Podcast.
Thank you for having me again, Colt. Now listen, if this comes out on a Wednesday and I rip the greatest all-time Motivation Monday at the end of this thing.
It's Motivation Monday on a Wednesday.
It's Motivation Monday on a Wednesday. We're going to still have the best Motivation Monday you can possibly have, because motivation don't die on Monday. Just because you feel good on Monday don't mean you can fall off by Wednesday. So I don't care what day of the week you hear it. We're going to drop some knowledge today. How's it going, Cole?
It's going, man. This might be the earliest recording I have ever done.
It's 4:30 in the morning right now.
Damn straight, man.
I drove here. I left my house at 3. Me and Cole definitely just
didn't you already? You got to work. Yeah, I was gonna say we already got that workout in.
Yeah, that was totally sick. We just got the crust out of our eyes, and now we're ripping the Roughnecks first thing in the morning. So good morning, Roughnecks. Yeah. So you've been on for episode 163, which was a guest episode, and then episode 180, which was a Q&A with Dante, where we did it out there on the patio. That was a fun one. That was a great one.
I think Dante and I were ripping a bunch of beers.
That was great. I think I was drinking a sparkling water at the time. We had a couple beers flowing. They were going down easy. The Q&As are great. We got to dig into the mind of Reno a couple times that day. He had some crazy things coming out of that mind of his, but you know, it feels good to just be back, get a sit down going, update the people of the Roughnecks community. We just got done with some big sales. I seen we were up to 40% off on the Roughnecks gear. I mean, Roughnecks is finding its stride. So I'm happy to be back here. I'm interested in what we're going to get into today. So here we go. So just kind of give a background on who you are for people who, if you haven't listened to us, we get other episodes, go check out 163 and 180, especially 163 for just kind of the background of Jake. Just kind of update your background because some things have changed since the last time you were on. A little bit. So if you missed 163, the OG episode, I really got into the details on that one. So if I'm cool enough for a second listen, check that one out after this. But I'll give you the blanket statement. Who's Jake? Jake is me. I'm not the most interesting person in the world, but I'll give it to you straight, that's for sure. I'm a personal trainer. I guess you could call me a business owner, entrepreneur, but, you know, all-around fitness kind of guy. That's my shtick nowadays. I'm in the fitness world. I do a lot of one-on-one, customized, individualized personal training, some small group stuff. whenever we run into it. I love running just a solid like 3-4 small group when the opportunity comes, but pretty much been in the fitness space on my own coming up on almost 3 years now, if my math is right. Again, fitness guy, not great at math or speaking or English or anything else. Those are not my strong suits. I can count by 45s, and that's about it. But pretty much just personal trainer in the greater Columbus area. I am mobile. We're making another spot right now. I'm sure we can get into that as the day goes, but pretty much based up in the Lewis Center area. Mostly a gen pop trainer. I really specialize like in weight loss, transformations, and just bringing the everyday person into the fitness community. Now, don't get me wrong. I love to train my power lifters, my overall sport-specific athletes. That gives me a really good challenge, but kind of where I find to be the hardest form of training and the most rewarding form of training is that gen pop training. I want to train your aunt. I want to train your third cousin who played football in high school but hasn't touched a weight in 10 years. I want the average Joe off the street who wants to make fitness part of their life, kind of because I feel like that was me. I feel like we had sports growing up, and then, when you get out of that, you kind of find your stride in the real world, and you can push fitness to the side so easily. And I want to be that dude that reintroduces you to the fact that or totally introduces you to the fact that having a healthy fitness-based lifestyle is not just for the gym bros anymore. You do not have to be Arnold to even look like Arnold anymore. The times are changing. So that's really my main goal. I like to say there's more to me if you get down into the details, but that's what I'm here to do, man. That's what I'm bringing to the people.
That's what it's crazy. I feel like social media, I don't want to say ruins it, but that's what people see on social media. There's all these fitness models or fitness, influencers, and anybody can be an influencer anymore. But right. I mean, you kind of see, and I feel like it kind of takes away, but I like when I do see the average Joe posting about it.
That's where it's at.
You're not just an average Joe. Cat. All right. I know you want to hop on this podcast, but not today.
Get him in here.
I like seeing it because it does make it takes away from, or it doesn't make it seem like only people that are already in it can do it. Anybody can do it.
Isn't that funny too when, our feeds are so flooded with the freaking craziest physiques of all time? Mm-hmm. I love seeing your homie that just posts his gym picture. I'm like, hell yeah, that's what I want to see. I feel like it's almost so oversaturated of somehow seeing the greatest physiques mankind has ever carved out of freaking stone. Every time I open my phone, I want to see my homie who's just did his first 30-minute cardio session and he feels like a god.
Yeah.
I want to see the boys, the gals, and all of us, street level pedestrian people just take this stuff to the next level. So I'm almost sick of seeing the fitness influencer. I'm sick of the kid who's like, I train for aesthetics, bro. I'm like, I get that. I can also diet down to 1,100 calories and tank my test and have abs. It's cool, but I want to see MFers off the street who want to get strong, who want to build strength for longevity. I love that dude. The guy that's like, I train so I can be a strong dad one day. That's my kind of guy. I'm liking that guy right now. Those are the guys I want on my team. Those are the guys I want around me. And it's just such a better post, man. I do not want to see the fact that you ate nothing but chicken and broccoli. Granted, I've been there before. It's not fun. I want to see that you're just figuring out how to diet, that you're just finding the gym, that you're looking for your stride, and that you are going to go find it for all the right reasons. Show me more average Joe's Instagram, please.
Yeah, don't be afraid to post it. There's a lot of you average Joes listening. Let's be real. That's I don't want to say 90%, but it's most of the population.
That's the Roughnecks, baby. The Roughnecks are the average Joes turning pro. That's us. That's who we're talking to. Post that gym picture, please.
So, but you got a little new gym adventure going on. Gym venture, I guess is the right word.
I like gym venture. That's a nice little made up word. I like gym venture. I got a gym venture.
So, kind of tell us what's going on with that and how it all started, essentially.
So let's give a big ol' shout out to Matheny Muscle House. That's going to be the name of the gym that's coming in. A private, exclusive, one-on-one training gym. You will not be in there with the public. You will not have your grandma hitting 12-330 on the treadmill while I'm trying to teach you how to deadlift with all the distractions and everything going on there. It will be premier training from some of the best trainers in the world, including the man himself, the reason it's called what it's called, Zach Matheny. We're talking about a 600-plus squatter, a 600-plus deadlift puller, but he's got almost a 300-plus bench, I'm pretty sure. He just competed at that Empower meet not long ago. I think his total was up there into the 1500s. He's an absolute unit. I've never seen a guy with six-pack abs carrying 225 like he does. He's got a thick body with deep groove abs, and he's just the nicest dude in the world. He is kind of the mastermind behind the whole thing. Now, granted, he's such a nice dude. He really does call us a team. It's me, him, and another trainer. His name is Noah Watts, military guy. Been in the military for about 6 years now. Great dude. He calls us a team when really it's like Zach's leading the charge and we're like his two little minions, but we're just there to support the cause. It all comes from his great mind, and he comes from Max Effort, which is a hometown place that we support. And, they got Corey Gregory and Dustin Myers who kind of leading the charge out there. And Zach really, accredits a lot of what he's learned from them. So it feels like we're just kind of passing the baton, and it feels really exciting for me to be a part of something that feels like it's being passed down to him. So I feel like I'm an heir to the throne of the fitness world, and I'm honestly just grateful that they let my dumb ass in. So,
so how did did you reach out to them to do it, or did he reach out to you?
Oh, you know what? I'm almost, it feels imposter syndrome to say this because it is kind of sick, but I did get a phone call from Zach one day, and we've only ever followed each other on Instagram. It's not like we're really homies. We never grabbed a beer before, which I'm sure we'll have plenty in the future, but we met each other last September, right? Is it 2023?
Yes, it is.
God, I don't pay attention to the date anymore. All the days are the same. Last year, 2022, September, so the end of 2022, we did a powerlifting meet. We were in the same powerlifting meet. He was actually training one of his clients for that meet, and he ended up competing alongside him, which was really cool to see.
That is cool.
Yeah, something that I saw that day that kind of kickstarted another gear of it for me. Like, man, I want to do that. That's awesome. And I talked to him that day, and that's where we really kind of met. And I did totally abuse his knowledge that day and made him kind of pick my weights and coach me through my meet because it was my first official meet. And I abused his knowledge that day and kind of took advantage of his friendship and asked him where I should go next. And hey, Zach, I just got red lighted on a squat. Where do I go now? Like, I didn't know what I was doing, but that's when we met, and we kind of chopped it up that day. And I had reached out to him, and I was like, I want to shadow you one day because I see the way you work with your people. I want to watch how you do it. I kind of want to just go pick the brain of somebody who's been in the thick of it. He's been on individualized one-on-one training for, I think, 8 years now. Okay. And it's hard not to look up to someone like that in the space. So big shout out to Big Z, Zach Matheny right there. Met him last year, and then all of a sudden, I would say 6 months ago, he was like, hey, Jake, what's your number? I want to give you a call. Gave me a call, laid out the plan, said he wanted me on the team. And I was like, are you sure you have the right number? I just wanted to be sure he called the right guy, but I am grateful that he reached out to me, and I always talk down on myself and act like I'm not, also working on my craft and putting in the hours and things, but I am grateful that he trusted me. He reached out and he said, hey, we're going to bring something to the city that they really don't have access to right now, and that's, top tier elite training at an affordable price, something that they can get down on 5 days a week, and we're going to start, turning these average Joes to pros. That's our goal. So then it all came to fruition. We're here. We're a month away. It'll be here before you know it.
What I like that you said, though, like, you talked to, essentially, you found a mentor. And I think that's very important, no matter what industry that you are in, right, or what passions or hobbies you have. Like, there's definitely podcasts that I listen to that I'm looking at everything they're doing. I'm paying attention to how they do things. And I'm sure, like, reaching out to them and just shooting your shot, essentially. It's like shooting your shot with that girl or whatever.
That's it.
You have to do it. Like, don't be afraid to find your mentor for, that's probably my new podcast stuff. Find a mentor, and no matter what industry it is, or if you just have a hobby, like guitar, right, like say you want to learn how to play guitar. I'm just one of the examples that I can come up with right now. One, there's a million different videos on YouTube. Two, you can find somebody on Instagram and that kind of stuff, and they will literally, like, I guarantee you, more than likely, people are willing to help you or teach you some things along the way.
They would love to. I know that there's so much information available online right now. I could learn how to be a cricket player in the next 6 hours. If I sat down and pulled up YouTube, I could go find the craziest hobby you could imagine. I could be making knit sweaters by 3 p.m. today with the power of the internet. Here's the problem. I'm only going to see what I see on the internet and then try to mimic it. I'm not going to get the one-on-one experience. I'm not going to be able to put in those in-person reps. And there's so many little nuanced things that you're going to learn from a mentor or a teacher or even just a good friend who wants to share the lifestyle with you in person. There is no replicating learning in person. I love that, fitness is so trendy right now, and it's in the space, and everybody wants to lift, and I am all for that. Like, let's go, bring everybody into the gym. As long as you don't talk to me, I got my headphones on, leave me alone. And I love that everybody's coming into the gym right now, but everybody also thinks that they know everything just from the internet. Granted, you can really probably go learn 90% of the shit that you need from the internet. Just be careful trying to see something on a TV and then just go copy the movement. You need to know the little tiny bits and pieces that happen there. And I'm sure I could have watched, somebody train someone else online. And we have to do our education. We have to do our certification. And they teach you, but I can only read so many words on a screen and then go try to replicate that in the world before I'm like, damn, I kind of need to see somebody else who's failed enough do this and what they've learned from it so I can go have that same experience. Like, the internet will teach you a lot, but it will really only get you so much. That last 10%, go learn from someone who's been around the game. They are willing to share with you. Even in my short time, I'm grateful. Thanks for asking, by the way. People work with me and want to be mentored by me, and they came in and shadowed me for a couple days of my training session. So, I think I probably kickstarted them in a way that, anything online is not going to give you. So go find a mentor or somebody that will help you in that situation. It's game changing for sure.
Oh, 100%. And I love when people reach out and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. And it's like, all right, right here. I get to tell you all the things that I did wrong, first off. And I get to tell you what I'm doing. Like, you don't always have to copy everyone else. Because what I'm doing right now doesn't mean this was a long journey to get to where I'm at now, like with the microphones and everything else. And it's still growing. You don't have to go buy the $500 microphone right away. If you have the money, maybe wouldn't. I don't always recommend it actually because I'm like, wait till you get to a year of podcasting.
Yeah, you almost need to come from the trenches of whatever you're trying to do.
Yes,
to appreciate what it is when you get there. Because if you didn't record on a blue snowball mic or some crazy USB terrible plug-in mic that was $30 at Best Buy,
I will never use a Blue Yeti. Absolutely not.
Right, but sometimes you got to start on the Blue Yeti. Like, that snowball might get the things going. When you go get that good mic that's actually, you got your headphones on, you got the feedback, the mic sounds crispy, you're like, oh man, I'm making a stride here. If you jump straight in to the best equipment, the best stuff, full dive, you're going to be like, oh man, well, what's next? And you're never going to fail. You're never going to learn. You got to go through your eat shit period. I love to push the eat shit period. Does that sound gross? Yes, that's not what it means, though. We're not eating shit. We're eating shit. You got to go into your craft and, don't be scared to fail because that's where you learn the most shit. I know everyone and their mom has heard it 100 times. You learn the most from losing, but you really need to go get punched in the mouth to figure out how to box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a tough world when everything is so accessible. So that's why I was really, really glad to run into the right people. Whenever you mentor somebody, you want them to learn from your failures, but you also need them to kind of fail on their own. It's like being a rich celebrity trying to raise a kid without making them ungrateful.
Yeah, exactly. But I kind of wanted to, the big topic of discussion today, we're coming into the end of the year. One of the things, do you see an increase right now, or once winter starts kicking in, do you see an increase in fitness or a decrease in fitness, or does it kind of just stay the same as it was, coming from fall and summer? Do the seasons have a factor on fitness?
Absolutely. Happy New Year, baby. Here's what goes down, man, and I see it. I've seen it every year. It really does get dramatized a lot when you're like, oh man, don't go to the gym on January 1st. Everyone's going to be in there and all the benches will be taken and yada, yada. Number one, be accepting because you were that person too. You were that person that had to show up on the first day. So cut them some slack. Whoever you see in the gym now, this wintertime season, it does pick up. I get that. A lot of people will be in there on the first week of December because they want to try to beat the New Year's resolutions. I get it. We will see you for 6-7 days the first week. Then you're going to stop coming because the holidays are going to come around. We will see you again in January. Do not give up, though. Okay, try it again. Come back the first week. Try it again. We'll make it happen, I promise. But you definitely see the influx of people. Now, again, back to the topic of everything being so readily available. People are now scared of the first week of January. So it used to be, especially when I worked at public gyms. I managed public gyms for like 2-3 years before I started training on my own. We would see so many people in that first week. And honestly, it was really cool. Everybody had good mindsets about it. Everyone was welcoming and accepting. But now there's this little shtick like thing of be scared of the first week of January. You're not going to have a bench, or there's no dumbbells, or all the rookies are going to be there. That people are scared to show up. So it used to be January was a really busy season for all of us. And now there's so much gym intimidation, Tumblr ass term that I just pulled out right there. So much intimidation in the gym that we're stopping seeing that influx. And it does kind of hurt the balance of things because, when that January 1st New Year's resolution comes around, we do get to keep a handful of those people and we keep them for the long haul. And that should be kind of like the weeding out process. If you are going to get in the gym New Year's resolution style, the people who really, really want to be there, they're going to stay in because they're going to go in, they're going to get their taste, they're going to join the Iron Club that we're all a part of, and they're going to be there for the long haul. And we want you. But now that everybody's so scared of the first week of January, it's this crazy. It might as well be freaking Halloween because it's so scary to everybody. We don't get those people. People aren't even taking the chance to come find their groove on the first week of January. Here's my tip for you. Don't be scared to just go start with a trainer the first week of January. So many people that I know, they do sales in January. I'm not all for it because, hey, your price, your time is your thing. I don't think you should shortchange yourself and run a crazy discount just because it is that New Year's resolution time. I think, your dime and your time should still be the same thing. But people do run sales in January, and I wouldn't be scared to take advantage of those. If you've been following somebody and you're like, man, I like the way they look or how they train, jump in. Go try it in January. Why not? If they're going to run a sale, take advantage, baby. Go get that discount. It's not a bad thing. But I'm stopping to see that influx, that winter influx that's coming around. I want it back. I want everybody back on January. Come in on January so we can at least keep 5% of you.
Yeah, sales, I mean, we all take advantage of Black Friday and Cyber Monday type sales. Might as well, especially if that's the time that you're wanting to start. I do like, it is crazy. It is so, deterred now. People literally are like, oh, don't go to the gym.
Yes.
And I like that you said you were once that person.
Everyone was that person.
We've all been
started.
There.
You had to start.
Maybe it wasn't January 1st, but we started at some point. We were the new guy in the gym.
And you were so scared. I know you were scared.
Oh,
that first day you showed up, I know you were shaking.
I remember going to freaking lifting in 7th grade or whatever. That first time, and you're like, we think we're these little scrawny kids, and you get in there and you're like, I don't know how to do anything.
You have no idea. And there's coaches, and they gave us the resources that they had.
Yeah.
I could have pooped my pants that first day that I was in there. Yeah. And I strictly remember the first time I ever took a bench press on just the bar, I thought I was going to die. I had no idea what was going on. Was the weight heavy? I mean, not really. But the motion of just set up on a bench.
It didn't feel weird.
No.
It felt, or it didn't feel right. There we go.
Yeah. It didn't feel right at all because they cue you, and thank God we at least had semi-competent coaching at the time. They will give you cues just to do the basic stuff to not die, to not get crushed by the bar, because that's really all that matters. Because if I would have sat down on my first bench and someone's like, okay, here we go, retract your scapula, row the bar in, drive your feet, arch your back. I'm like, dude, what? I don't even know what those words fucking mean. Thankfully, they're just like, here's how you don't die. Go try to lift 45 pounds. And everyone's in there acting like we're not scared of the gym. We're all acting like we're super confident, and we're all looking at the fucking older kids who are lifting big weights, and we're like terrified of that. We're like, oh, we kind of want to be that though. So we're terrified and excited all at the same time. We're also prepubescent, so we probably got erections. We're all stiff, rock solid, trying to lift 55 pounds for a 1-rep PR. We have to be that person though, because those memories really do stick with you forever. I'm literally sitting here as a 24, about to be 25-year-old dude, reminiscing on literally 6th and 7th grade when we started weightlifting, because I do think it is so cool. Now, I don't care if you start at 25, because when you're 30, you're going to be thinking about when you started at 25. So don't be scared to start. I think once you get the hang of it, your starting memories are some of the funniest freaking things of all time. I still have pictures because we grew up in a weird time, like really like at the internet starting to peak.
Yep.
So I still have Snapchat memories that say like 11 years ago or whenever Snapchat came out when you could save your Snapchats of us as like little kids in the football gym, like flexing in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, we thought we were so big.
Oh, dude. I look back at pictures from like high school that I think I still have some on Instagram, which I probably should delete.
No, keep them forever, please.
I'll screenshot them, but I don't need to put them out there to the world anymore. But like I look at like when I flexed and stuff, and in high school, I was like, man, I'm freaking jacked.
Oh, I thought I was.
Then I remember going into college, and I'm like,
oh, wake up call.
Holy crap! Everybody's bigger than me.
Right.
Because like when you go on a recruiting visit to Ohio Wesleyan, an overnight, you usually get in a Friday workout with the team.
I like that.
Oh
that's
yeah.
Cool.
And let me tell you though, like you're not changing weights because it's a lot of station, and like so like we're squatting and they got like 315 on for like 5 reps, and I'm like, oh fuck.
I've never even touched that.
But they always tell you, like the recruits, like I remember I'd always tell them, I'm like, hey, listen, like either take like real quick, we'll take the weight off and drop it down, or don't do 5. Like just give it in what you can. Like don't kill yourself. We're not trying to kill you.
No, please don't. You're not even signed to the school yet. We don't. Dude. The trainer can't even legally take care of you. Please don't die.
I am a senior. You're a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like just it's okay.
And I'm sure there is that feeling though when you show up to that workout when you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna move that weight. I'm gonna do that. I want to lift that 315. And then you're under that bar for the first time, like, oh my, what the hell did I get into?
Yeah, it's. I remember about puking, like, because that was like the most intense workout I've ever one of the most intense, like at the time.
Yeah.
Just because like you're trying to compete with and prove yourself to these coaches, because like these coaches want you to come play for them, but you're like, I can't be a bitch.
Meanwhile, they already got your paperwork done.
Yeah,
your fast one's already done. You're coming to the school, buddy. There's no need.
I actually committed that night after the workout. That's when I committed to Ohio Wesleyan.
Yeah, and that's kind of the same thing. I mean, you get in that environment, and you see these cats who have been around the game for this long. This is like just their regular maintenance workout, and then you're in there blasted out of your brain. It's the most exciting, amazing thing that you've ever been a part of, and that's why when you do come around in January, please stay around, because I actually had this talk with one of my clients the other day. Fitness, health, lifting, whatever you want to call it, is so cool to be a part of, because you are signing up for the game that you can never win. There is no winning lifting. It's not possible. That is why it's so cool, because I always talk to my people when, they come in on the 3rd week of their cycle, or they're about to go to their peak week of whatever mesocycle they're on. And I'm like, yo, we're about to get heavy. They're like, dude, we were heavy last week. I'm like, okay, we got stronger. We got to keep getting heavy. We have to keep progressing. And it's just this kind of ever rewarding thing. And, when you find your groove, or you work with a good coach who's able to create that groove for you, you kind of get that scared Cole Nixon on his first Friday workout. I got to go attack this shit and grab the bull by the horns kind of attitude every single time you go lift, because you just get to progress and progress and progress. And it is kind of ever rewarding. I mean, you wouldn't have signed that next night if that wasn't some dope shit that you were a part of. So whether you're on a team or you have a coach, or if you're just lifting by yourself with your headphones and pretending the world doesn't exist like I do 5 times a week, whatever you're doing, you go get that experience. And you know what? Truthfully, I don't want to make it sound sad, but we don't get that feeling in life a lot anymore. A lot of people have their career, and you get to go take those jumps in your career, which is cool. But outside of that, you don't really get that opportunity. And I think it's something everybody should kind of experience. I think a lot of people are anxious nowadays because they can't tell the difference between healthy anxiety and bad anxiety. And a good dose of healthy anxiety when you're prepping for something big that you're trying to take on challenge-wise is something you cannot recreate anywhere. And I think I'm kind of stealing this term from Sean O'Malley, the UFC fighter.
Okay.
He talks about his approach into the most anxious moments of his life being a very subtle calmness, because he's been in that moment so many times. I mean, obviously he's the champ right now and he's been on the biggest stage in the world. He has approached that healthy anxiety so many times that he is the master of his own nerves and anxiety. And let's be honest, there's probably a billion people in the world right now who would love to be able to say that, because anxiety, anxiousness, nervousness, and all of these emotions take over so many people's lives every day. I think you should go find that opportunity, to have to hype yourself up, to go rise to the occasion. every so often. Just like, I mean, I cannot stop picturing 17-year-old Cole for the first time in this weight room, just knuck if you buck, like rack up or sack up kind of shit, just putting a bar on his back and going to work. Like, I'm sure, like you said, you'll never forget that. That's something that'll stick with you for a long time. And you can even pull that memory in a different workout. So if you're having a workout and you're in that stage of now you're overloaded, now maybe it's not now you're hitting 315. Hopefully we've progressed from then. But you can pull from that same feeling of like, okay, there's not a coach in this room. There's not a senior in this room I'm trying to impress, but there's me, right? I'm building that up for myself. I need to prove myself right that I'm here for a reason. And that is just the evergreen, factor that I think we should all kind of be a part of.
That's what I like too. Like, I think people get into lifting sometimes for the wrong reason. Like, I don't feel like it's as common, but it is, you're not trying to impress others.
I got into lifting for the wrong reason. I got into lifting because I wanted bicep, abs, and girls.
It's fair. I mean, it's a lot of people. but what does it turn into? It's a competition with yourself now.
Right.
That's what a lot of people, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad reason to get into it, because at least you get into it, but eventually you're going to realize all lifting is it's that constant competition of trying to, you might be trying to prove other people wrong, but it's really, you're trying to prove yourself right. Like, you're competing with yourself. You're competing with nobody else, and you have to stop letting the outside factors drive you. I mean, there's pros and cons to this, because like the dad, like you talk about, the dad working out to have a healthier life for his kids, like so that his kids can enjoy him. That's a good thing, like a good outside factor. But you don't need to be looking at somebody else like Arnold, like I just want to be like that guy. Right, I mean, it's good to have goals to strive for, but really you have to be doing it for yourself.
Yeah, and that's not you. And also, you're not on the same supplements that he was on. So, don't do it that way. But I love the way that you speak of it. It's kind of an everlasting competition thing, and it is for you. And I have a great example of how it is for you, because I just I put out a lot of online programs, and I always test them out first, because I'm not going to put out something I haven't tested before. So I just did a 8-week-long hypertrophy only machines, like straight bodybuilding kind of program. So I haven't touched actual barbell in 8 weeks. And then the tail end, this was actually, today Sunday? Yes. This was yesterday. Yesterday, I was like, it's time to get back, baby. Let me grab a bar. I've been itching for this so bad. I'm in the gym. I take a set of bench. I'm like, if I'm grabbing a bar, I'm going to bench. I'm going to go old school. I'm just going to go to the most tried and true bar movement. I'm going to bench today on my Saturday. I'm going to go for a triple and see, did I lose strength from the hypertrophy program? Did I gain it? Yada, yada. All these factors for the programming. What it turned into is me having a damn powerlifting meet with myself. And I'm in here just moving this weight, dude. I actually, weirdly enough, got stronger during my hypertrophy only phase. Came back, PR'd on my bench for a triple, got off the bench, turned around, and double flipped the bird to the bar, an inanimate object. There's other people in the gym. I didn't give a rat's ass. I turned around and flipped the fucking bar off like I just beat the bar in a competition. So, like, I did not show up that day intending to have a Jake versus Jake one-on-one powerlifting meet, but it really turned into it, and it was actually kind of fucking sick. And it's just this thing that, it's weird because I'm not even really a super competitive person. Like, I'm the kind of guy, like, if we're throwing cornhole bags in the yard, I would rather you win and me lose so I don't have to hear you bitch. Like, I really don't care about that kind of shit. And I don't really care unless it's like a real competition where we're actually playing for something and it's, maybe a sport or something like that, then I'll care. But other than that, I find myself in these competitions with myself only every single day in this weird situation of like Jake versus Jake. And I think that makes me care a lot less about other things like playing games or things like that. Like, those people that like throw their controller when they play Call of Duty and all that shit.
I've definitely got angry when I've
been there.
Yeah, like, but like, as I've gotten older, I'm like, that was just stupid. Like, oh my God, I died for the first time in 30 kills. And I'm so pissed off. And it's like, really, this isn't the end of the world at all.
I'm fucking punching holes in my wall and shit. I used to be that way when I was a kid. I was like the rage kid on Xbox for sure.
It definitely was at times too.
Yeah, but then when you develop this sense of competing with yourself and developing this sense of self-worth really through beating yourself in these things or losing these battles sometimes, you start to not care about the little things. And I think that will, really develop a healthy sense of competition within you, because some days you beat yourself. Some days Sorry, that sounded horrible. Some days you win, some days you lose. You know, you can't win them all. But it develops a really healthy train of thought that, well, I don't know. I'm flipping off bars. Is it really that healthy? Is it really that healthy when I'm beefing with the bar?
I wanted to ask, do you think that rage, like even that video game rage, do you think it kind of stems from that competition of yourself with yourself because you think that you know that you're better than that?
Right, you're right. It's
but you talked about it. There's a healthy rage and an unhealthy rage.
Yeah, and you do develop a way to channel it into the right places, which is good. Because I would rather triple, quadruple flip off a barbell in a crowded gym than be the guy at home throwing my keyboard and mouse across the room when I lose in a game of Fortnite. So there will always be a sense of rage that needs to get channeled through us as humans. You can develop to put it into the right places. I guess that's the healthy part of it. We came to a conclusion today. Well, we did a good thing today. Go flip off your local barbell at the Y and feel alive.
Just make sure there's no kids around. Let's just leave the kids out of it.
Yeah, hopefully there was no kids. Hopefully nobody actually saw it. I really don't care, but I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the example.
So, do you see a lot of you talked about how you see an increase at the beginning of December, it starts to drop off when the holiday season comes around. How can you carry, in your opinion, that motivation or discipline from the beginning of December, if you're lifting, working out, into that holiday season where it's a busy time, people are stuffing their faces with all kinds of food, you're getting all these gifts that are going to probably make you sit on your ass on the couch and that kind of thing. How can you carry that through to just keep transitioning and keep carrying forward?
Fantastic question, because everyone's trying to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that starts, they always kind of wonder, once you take the leap, the start is the craziest part. Once you take the leap and you start, they wonder, how the hell do I keep going? Yeah, it was cool to start, but like, how do I come back and come back and come back? Because when you first start, it's the absolute least rewarding part of the entire thing, because you get stuck. And like, let's say you're lifting 95 pounds on a bench. You're going to bench 95 pounds for 5, right? And then next week you're going to come back and you're going to probably only still get it for 5. And then next week you're going to come back and you actually probably might only get it for 4 because you might not know what you're doing or how to do this. But then like 5 weeks down the line, you might get it for 6, and then you might get it for 7, and then 8, and it'll grow eventually. Here's how you maintain and you get to week 7 and week 8, especially through the holidays. My number one tip is, if you're going to jump off the high dive for the first time, or take the leap into fitness is what I'm using as an analogy. If you're going to jump off the high dive for the first time, don't try to do a triple backflip while you're up there. Just jump. Don't try to make the most fantastic 10 out of 10 from the Russian judge dive that you've ever seen in your life while you're up there, because you're about to shit your pants just at the height of the dive. Don't try to think that you've got this all under control when you jump off, because you don't. It's going to be ugly. You're going to get a 1 out of 10. You're banned from the Olympics. You're gone forever. Bye. What's going to happen is you're going to try to do too much at once. It's all going to overwhelm you, and you're going to quit everything at once. So when you take the leap, don't say, okay, Monday morning, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get up earlier than I've ever gotten up. I'm going to change my diet that day. I'm going to drink this much water that day that I've never done. I'm going to take these vitamins that I've never taken in my life that I've never, ever done. I'm going to go tell my boss at work I want to raise. I'm going to go break up with my girlfriend and find a new one. Like, don't try to do 56 things that day. What you're going to do is go show up to the gym and do the gym only for the first 2 weeks. Here's why it's actually cool to do during the holidays. Just go show up to the gym, and then that way, on Christmas, when you eat 46 slices of ham, cheesy potatoes, have spaghetti from your Italian side of the family, and eat all the desserts that you want, you're going to say, yeah, but I made my one change. I went to the gym this week, okay? Then you've been going to the gym for 4 weeks. You rewarded yourself with the Christmas food. Week 5, tell yourself, okay, now I'm in. I've been going. I've been doing my thing. I rewarded myself here. I changed the one thing. Now I'm going to change the second. Now I got my gym momentum kind of going. I've been going for, 2 to 3 times for 4 weeks. My momentum is there. Now I'm going to try to change my food. Then you'll start to see, okay, I can do more than one thing at a time. Start to develop that. Then on week 7 or week 8, you're like, okay, now I do need to do this because I'm working out and I'm eating right. Let me get my water intake right. Just go one piece at a time. And if you need to play that game at first, that's like, hey, if I work out on the 23rd, I'm going to stuff my face on the 24th. It's not like you're in a diet prep contest phase where you need to totally control your calories and have this down to a T and only eat salmon, asparagus, and long grain wild rice, right? Do your thing go get your body moving, and then go freaking fake reward yourself with the shit you were going to eat anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we're all going to do it. I'm
Yeah.
going to do it. It's like, there's this running joke in my family of how many plates can we feed Jake on the holidays. And, you know, I've kind of fallen into the game. I love to play the game now. And, like, I think my record's like 6.
Jesus.
I go hard. It's a spectacle at this point. But, you know, we're all going to do it. Don't act like just because you made one change and you've been going to the gym for 2 weeks, don't show up to the holiday like, no, can't be me. Can't be me. Get that out of here. Do you guys have any salad? Where, you know, do you guys have any protein bars in there? Right? You know, make your change and make it nice and slow, because we're not trying to do the 30-day transformation. We don't want to do the get-rich-quick scheme. We want to develop a lifestyle that can go last us ages and evergreen results. We don't want it done this month anyway. Why are we trying to change it all right now? So piece it up and go one at a time. That's the best advice you could do right now.
Do you think that that is why a lot of New Year's resolutions fail, is because they go in head first with a million different things? And I'll be honest, like, I've had this, maybe not with like lifting and that kind of stuff, but where like I want to do all these things, and if I try to put too much on one day, and then you kind of just want to give up because you're like, I can't get any of it done.
Yes.
If you just start with like one thing at a time, you slowly start to piece together a puzzle.
Yeah.
It is a puzzle. Life is a puzzle. And when you start to just focus on one thing, and you could even maybe just do it with your water intake first, or that kind of stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be. And I think too many people, they're like, oh, I have to go in, and if I'm not at the gym for like an hour and a half, I didn't even get anything done. Right. I used to have that mindset where I'm like, if I'm not there for like a long time, I feel like I got nothing accomplished.
It was worthless. Yeah. So life really is a 10,000 piece puzzle, and nobody's going to give you the picture on the box to follow.
No, you're putting it together upside down, and you don't have anything to go off of.
Yes, and everybody's making a different picture, so don't look at your homie and cheat, because it's not going to work. You're not making the same thing, trust me. But 100%, do not overload yourself with all the variables at once, because they're just going to come back to bite you. You have to go slow. You have to take things really, really, really paced out. It's kind of like if you were to try to be a different person the next day. You've spent, for example, 24 years being Jake. You cannot wake up tomorrow and be Jake. You cannot change everything about yourself, bro. Not in one day. It's just not going to work out. So you need to realize that if it's taken you however long that you've been sitting down contemplating making the jump to get there, it's not going to happen that quickly, or you would have already done it. It would have been done. If it was this easy of just go change it all in one day and it's going to stick forever, you would have done it years ago whenever you told yourself that you were going to do it, if that's what you're kind of on the fence about. But it's happened to everybody. We've all had that day where we stayed up too late playing video games when we were a kid, and we're like, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and get rich. I got that motivation brewing in my backside right now. I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. and I'm going to eat broccoli for breakfast, and I'm going to go on a 15-mile run, and I'm going to go to the gym and lift. And then by freaking 5 a.m., you're like, what the fuck am I doing, dude? Like,
I'm going back to bed.
Yeah, I give up. I'm going to just go buy the Fortnite Battle Pass and see how my day goes. Like, fuck this, dude. This didn't work. But maybe if you did tell yourself, hey, I'm up at 2 a.m. right now playing video games. Let me get my sleep right now. Let me go clock into work tomorrow, do my normal routine. And then maybe after work, I'll try to start developing something. Just maybe go on a 1-mile walk. Go slow. You also do not need to jump into something that you are trying to be the best at. So I always tell my people when we're training, like, hey, if we can show up for maybe the first week and have what we call 90%ers, we're on a freaking great track. If you can show up for a training session with me, and if you can get 80 to 90% or 90%ers of the day right, you had a freaking amazing day. Honestly, if you can come in and get 50% of the shit at least kind of correct, you're a fucking all-star. Like, all you have to do is go up and get enough stuff right that you want to come back and get the rest of it right later. So try to be a 90%er. If you show up and try to be a 100%er, you're kind of bound to disappoint yourself, because no matter who you are, you could not jump in and be a 100%er on anything day one. Now, beginner's luck is real. People get lucky with shit all the time, but you're not going to jump in and be perfect at anything really ever. And I always tell my people that, like, dude, I'm trying to show up and be a 90%er right now. Like, if I can go to the gym tomorrow and have a 90% day, I'm fucking ecstatic, because I'm still on the right track. It gets to a point where you try to be a 100%er and it's going to come back to bite you. So just be careful trying to be a perfectionist. I hear a lot of people say that. They're like, oh, but I'm a perfectionist. I want to do it 100% right.
That's not healthy, in my opinion.
No, it's really not. And it's not anything that you're ever going to learn from, because every single time you show up, you're going to feel like you disappointed yourself.
Been there.
Yeah,
literally, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me, and it's still partially an issue, but it's gotten a lot better.
And you know what, Cole? I think it's a college sports thing. Really, really breeds that. A lot of people that I work with, my own girlfriend included, she's even very self-aware of this now. People who come from college sports, there's like this thing that is bred inside of you guys that has such a do it 100% perfect, or you let down you, your team, your coaches, your school, and everybody that came to see you. And if you didn't do that, you're a piece of shit. Like, there's this like brewing thing that is inside of you guys. And I love that you guys made the jump to go be competitive at the next level. And that takes such sacrifice that you have to respect. There is this thing bred in you guys that carries on after school that I think kind of haunts you guys a little bit. And it is a little scary to see, because we cannot be perfect. And what sucks about college athletics is those coaches are striving for perfection, because really they want the 90%. But if you tell a college kid, give me 90%, he's going to give you 40.
Yep.
And if you're okay with it being like, okay, all right, fellas, let's go 75% here, they're going to give you 10.
Yep.
You're always going to miss it. So they breed you guys in this way of like, give me 100% or 120%, give me perfection, because really they want 90. They just can't say that to you guys or you're going to fuck off.
Yeah.
So be careful carrying that outside of those environments where you're being pushed for perfection, because those coaches know that you can't be perfect. Now, they're going to rip your ass when you go watch film because you weren't perfect, but they really just want you to get close to 95 or 90%, not absolutely perfect. You got to be careful with that.
I like that. I've never actually thought of it that way, where they don't necessarily want 100% out of you. Right. They want to try and push you as far as they can. And, and if, I mean, honestly, like the times when they're like, hey, you can take off your helmets and shoulder pads for running, we were like, oh, damn, like we don't have to try as hard now.
Yeah.
Or you maybe tried a little harder because you're like, actually, if we try harder during this, then we don't have to do it. Mm-hmm. Where we don't have to wear pads every time. But no, like I remember in Little League, I won't say the coach's name, but I remember I had a coach in football, and he always said, like, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Mm-hmm. And like it started even at that young age.
Yeah, that's not possible.
You can't. Too many people chase perfection, and one of the things that it is bred into us. I did have a coach in college, and I think even in high school we had it a little bit. But I remember one of my defensive coordinator. He'd always say, "You're gonna fuck up. You're gonna make mistakes. As long as I can see on film that you are fucking up full speed, you'll be all right. We can correct your mistakes, but." It's still in the back of your head of, I can't mess up because I can't let my coaches down, my team down, myself down. Yeah. So like it is, I've never really looked at it that way. We are bred, especially in college sports, like you can't, because in high school you can make a mistake and there's not always somebody behind you that's going to take your spot. College, you got somebody behind you, you make too many mistakes, you're on the bench. So you really chase that perfection. And I've never thought of it that way. And it does take a little bit of time. I feel like once you're out of college for a few years, that's when you start to kind of recognize, like, I'm chasing something that I will never catch.
Yeah, and you're not going to. But the coaches that put you in that position, they've been you, so they understand how to talk to you to at least get the output that they want. But even think about the way that you just described your conditioning. So the coaches tell you take your helmet and shoulder pads off. Immediately, you're thinking of ways to game the system.
Yep.
When you are young, you are always trying to game the system, or catch a break, or take it, not work as hard. Even when you're a hard worker, which you are, that was like your DNA. You were always the kid that went extra, the athlete that did the second rep or took the third when no one wanted to. Like, you were the definition of go the extra mile.
The annoying kid.
Well, yeah, to the kids that didn't try, you were the annoying one, right? But when you're in that environment, even someone like you're starting to develop a system of like, oh, okay, well, now we're in this environment. How can I go a little bit easier, right, to save my energy? Things like that. The coaches know that we do that as young athletes, so they just got to up the bar to get what they want out of you. But it's hard to, magician never reveals how he did his trick. Those coaches don't want to pull the curtain back and reveal to you that that's what was happening. I wish that you guys could have like end of season meetings where like you guys just hug for like 10 minutes. And he's like, yo, all that shit I yelled at you, like I meant it, but like, dude, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because a lot of these people, they do carry it with them. And And I like what they say. You're gonna fuck up, but go fuck up at full speed, because we can fix a mistake, but we can't fix effort.
Yes.
Give me the full fucking 100% of whatever you can bring that day. But if you're in your head thinking about trying to be perfect, I'm only gonna get 80% of your effort, because the rest of your brain is focused on not fucking up.
When I played corner, I was like so concerned because I was not a corner.
Right.
And I was like sitting there, and I used to like think, all right, this hand, this jab, like I have to place it in the perfect position, because I wasn't naturally a corner. So like I really had to pay attention. But the best plays I made at corner was when I didn't think.
You weren't thinking.
I had an interception. Now I wasn't thinking and should have thought, because I ran the complete wrong coverage that I was supposed to. Like, we were supposed to be a man-to-man. I ran cover 3.
It worked out.
It worked out, because like that came over that's like the definition of, if you're gonna fuck up full speed. Because I came over to the sideline, and our defense, like, we sat on the bench, and he was like, nice interception. I was like, hey. And he's like, next time we're in man-to-man, we stay in man-to-man. I went, oh shit, I checked out of man-to-man when we never check out of man. And I'm like, but I wasn't thinking. No, there is times you need to think, but sometimes when you just don't think, and don't think about the perfection aspect of it, just go do what you're supposed to do, or what you think you're supposed to do.
Intended to do.
Yeah, and good things can come out of it. But I wanted to ask too, because and you talked about playing the system. That was one thing we did in college all the time. We had this thing called buddy runs, where you had a partner, you lined up on the sideline, one person's down doing push-ups or sit-ups or like whatever they call it out, mountain climbers.
Okay.
And then the other person runs across the field and back, and then you just switch. And then, but you'd always tell your partner, like, hey, don't run as hard as you can, but don't run like super slow either. Right. So like because like that time when you're down is your break from your running, but you have to do an exercise. So like you played the system real well. Like you never wanted to pick a lineman as a DB. You never wanted to pick the fastest kid, because you never got a break.
Yeah, then you're running more than everybody.
Yeah, so you always picked like your partner, and you always just had this like mutual agreement of like, don't go too hard, don't go too soft.
Yeah, college kids can't be trusted. We're always looking for a way out. But even when you speak about just being full speed making mistakes, some you just end up right place, right time.
Yeah,
it just works out that way. And if you listen to some of these professionals talk, even if you want to keep it into like a football aspect, when you listen to like the New Heights podcast I'm kind of getting into recently, I listened to Travis Kelce talk about the things that he is reading, realizing, and then putting into action on the field. He'll say, okay, well, show me that clip one more time. They'll show him the clip. He'll be like, okay, here's what I saw, here's what I thought, here's what happened. But none of that was like in my mind at the time. Yeah. It just happened. And sometimes he's like, yeah, I didn't make a conscious decision to do that. It was unconscious. And, his brother is like, well, elaborate on that a little bit. How is it unconscious? Well, I've been in that situation 1,586 times. You do not get that unconscious ability to go full speed and go make full speed mistakes that turn into pretty little interceptions and cool shit unless you go get the reps. So reps will always save you from overthinking.
Yes.
You're going to go have 500 reps where you do overthink until you're able to have the 501st where you don't. But consistent reps will save you from that and allow you to turn your brain off. And when you have that unconscious ability to just end up in the right spot, sometimes you get a cool little... Was it a pick six?
No. Oh. It was a sideline toe tapper, though.
Oh, there you go.
In a close game where we were only up by one touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Ooh.
So it was in against Denison, our rival.
Oh, the Red Wave.
I hate Denison.
My grandpa played for Denison.
I would just not have... I like Denison because like me and Dante went to their camp.
Right.
And they loved us and like talked to us all the freaking like, and then like season hit, disappeared.
Oh God!
And they never recruited us, and neither me or him.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Ohio Wesleyan, like it's always a battle with Denison, and Wittenberg's our rival, but Denison kind of became a rival as well, and that was one of my highlights of my career was beating them and. Like just that feeling of beating them at home on senior day was nice.
You hear that Red Wave? Any Red Wave? Isn't that Denison Red Wave?
Big Red.
Big Red, whoever the fuck they are.
I don't know what the hell a Big Red is.
I don't know. Big Red, we're coming for you boys. I got nothing against you, but now I do. You made Cole mad. If you're a Big Red Roughnecks listener, I'm sorry. Please take your Denison shirt off when you listen to the episode.
Yes.
I think they were maybe I think of the Green
Wave.
Yeah.
We are right by Newark Catholic, so. Hey Roughnecks, it's me, Cole. Sorry for interrupting your listening experience. I hope you're enjoying today's episode, but I had to take a quick break to tell you guys about none other than Desert Fox Golf. There is no better gift to get your golf crazy loved one than some of their products. My personal favorites are the phone caddy, which straps to the golf cart and holds your phone in the absolute most convenient location. Plus, you can grab a tumbler while you're there. My personal favorites are the Patriot Aid tumbler and the Swing Aid tumblers. Head over to desertfoxgolf.com. Use the promo code Roughnecks at checkout for 10% off your order. Let's get back to today's episode. What are your thoughts on New Year's resolutions, and are people doing them right? Are they doing them wrong? Like, how should people, base their New Year's resolutions? Should they even make them?
We got the good questions today. I really like, this sounds so dumb. If anybody ever listens to me, they're like, let me listen. I'm going to listen to this trainer on this podcast. And then I always go against everything every trainer's ever fucking said. I don't like New Year's resolutions, bro. I don't think you should have to go have this fucking weird date on the calendar that makes you make this decision. Like, who are you really doing it for? The fucking New Year's baby? Like,
Yeah.
Why does Jan 1st have to be the day that you do it? Now, I'm all for shit that's going to kickstart you into going and doing what you really wanted to in the first place. But if you're sitting here on December 10th or whatever fucking day it is, let me not expose your editing schedule. I don't know when this one will make it out. December beep or whatever.
13th.
December one day, yeah. If you're sitting here on that day and you're like, man, on Jan 1st, I'm going to be a bad motherfucker. No, you're not, bro. If you were a bad motherfucker, you would have been it on December 12th or whatever the day before this is. You would have been there. I'm okay if you need extra motivation to get there, but I think they're being done for the wrong reasons. I think that there just became this thing of when you show up to the office and you're at the water cooler and your fucking co-manager is like, yeah, what's your New Year's resolution? That you kind of had to come up with something. And that was like that for a long time. And now everybody's like, man, how do I change my life on January 1st? That's the same thing as like, oh, I ate black-eyed peas on New Year's Day for good luck. What the fuck is that going to do for you, dude? You ate some peas. Like, motherfuckers eat peas every day and they have bad lives. Like, I don't think you should necessarily buy into this shit. I think in the age of information that we're in, I think these weird traditional things are kind of being pushed out. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for like some old school, like, I love a good St. Patty's Day parade or everybody wears green, or I think that shit's cool just because it gives us something to look forward to, but you shouldn't be necessarily leveraging your lifestyle decisions just because the 1st of January came around. You had 364 other days to get your shit together. If you didn't want it 364 other times, what makes you think that 365th you're going to go kick ass and do it for the next 365?
The problem is people, you thought about it before January 1st or before December 31st. Like, you have thought about this. Most people probably think of their New Year's resolutions around this time.
Right.
They're coming into the end of the year. You had 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 4 months before that to start. Why are you waiting? My opinion, I'm tired of January 1st and Mondays. Mondays are when people, I'm starting on Monday. Right. It's Wednesday. I'm going to start on Monday. Why do you have to wait till Monday? The longer you wait to, usually slows down the process. And like, because it's cliche and kind of not always true, but like, people that wait till Monday, if you start now, you're ahead of the people that wait till Monday. If you start now, you're ahead of the people that wait till January 1st to start, whatever it is. And I'm like you said, I'm not opposed to it being the motivation to kickstart some things, whether it's lifting or like just anything in life. But I'm tired of people using it as like the start date. Quit making that the start date when you thought of it months or weeks or days before.
You're just picking another day to give up on.
Yes.
If you're not really doing it for yourself and you're doing it because Monday came around, you're going to fucking hate Mondays, because Monday is going to be the day you gave up on everything. Like, Monday is going to become this day that is just of quitting for you. So be careful with that. Like, that's where we talk about, intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, and why are you doing the things that you're doing? Is it internal? Is it for you? Or is it from some outside source? And if it just the fact that it turned Monday on the calendar is the source, you'd have no longevity based in that decision, just like you said. So stop fucking picking Monday to do it. Like, let's start doing shit on Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Well, do it on Thursday because your fucking homies at the bar for Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah.
Make that the day that you go decide that you're not going to drink during the week anymore. You're only going to fucking drink on Saturdays and Sundays. Like, do it on Thirsty Thursday. Thursday's a new Motivation Mondays are now fucking something with a T Thursdays. I'm not the smartest fucking cat in the world, but start making them Thursdays. All right, let's get shit done on Thursdays. Why not?
Okay, so say someone does create their New Year's resolution. They typically last what, 2 weeks? That's like a kind of like the baseline of
that's
a week or two. So they usually last a couple weeks, and then people kind of give up on it.
Right.
How can you push through, in your opinion? And it doesn't necessarily have to be related to fitness, even though that'll probably be the easiest way for you to explain it. But how can someone get through that hump of that 2 weeks of like when most people give up to keep going forward with their goals?
Right. So if you're not doing it for the right reasons, my guess for you is that it's not going to work out regardless. Because if you're not in there for the right reason, it's going to be hard to stick to that reasoning and stick to that thing. So
real quick before you keep going on that, how can you find the right reason? Like, in your opinion, like what should you be searching for as your reason to get started in it?
So truthfully, you got to do the thing that no one wants to do. You pass your reflection in the mirror probably 100 times on accident a day. How many times do you sit down and really look at the person that's in that reflection? You have to be so fucking real with yourself. You know what's easy to do? Fucking lie. It is so easy to lie. It is so easy, and I'll save the terminology for my Motivation Monday speech, but it is so easy to be the person that thinks everything is against them. Go look yourself in the mirror and realize what you feel like you could change. There's so much shit going on out there that you're just accepting as reality. You're just accepting that, oh, I can't do anything about this. This is what's happening. So go find your reasoning by looking yourself in the mirror and thinking about, what can I control in life? There's a lot of things in this life that we cannot control that just have to happen, and they're going to happen anyway, and you just got to take it with a neutral outlook and keep pushing. But there is some nitty-gritty shit in there that you can control, and you need to go figure out what the fuck that is. And if you're not controlling it, realize that that is why you are the way you are. So go look yourself in the fucking mirror and say, what can Jake do to change and make that person in the mirror somebody that he fucking wants to look at, somebody that he's proud to look in the mirror at and be like, that is somebody I'm proud to show off. You have to look within yourself to find the reasoning. And that's probably the hardest thing for so many people to do right now. And it is kind of fucked up because I think it's hard to do that because it's so easy to look at other people now. Because I can go fucking click on your name and find a link tree with 46 different social medias that tell me your entire fucking life story. And I can go waste 3 days of my life studying yours and judging the fuck out of you. But I can now go do that with I don't know, with the internet. We all know, 6,000 fucking people that we can pull off our hand who's a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
I can go waste the next 3 years of my life, fucking 3 days at a time, judging these people that I don't know shit about in reality before I ever fucking look at myself. It's too easy to look at other people. So you got to fucking log out of your Instagram and go make a fake one and look at your fucking page and think, am I proud? Am I proud of that fucking page? Go look at what you can control and go change that. Look, you got to look within yourself, though. That's how you find the reasoning. What about myself can I change that I'm going to make myself a more proud version of myself?
I agree.
Now, back to how do you stick to that? You actually got to do the opposite, because sticking to your own shit, if you're not a bad motherfucker, is kind of hard. Go find your friend who feels the same fucking way about themselves. Look at each other and be like, we're not going to be fucking schmoes anymore. And if I fuck up, you stay on me. If you fuck up, I'm staying on you. You got to go find someone who's going to be real with you. And if you find a friend who's like, bet, I got you, bro, let's go. And by the 6th day, they're letting you slide on shit, that motherfucker ain't your friend no more. Go find somebody in your life who's going to be like, no, we got to stay on this. You got to be here. Keep me to this. Hold me to this, bro. Don't let me slip. That's your new fucking friend. That's your new fucking battle buddy. And you got to go stick with that guy. So that is my advice, because it is really hard to do on your own. I'm not going to lie. When you do fucker, and it is hard to do, but go find somebody else who even kind of wants the same shit. Go find your third cousin who wants to eat better, and you tell him, hey, fucking Jerry, don't let me slip. I'm going to the gym this week, and I'm not going to let you eat a fucking ho-ho. And you two go hold each other to it. So the best advice is find somebody who's kind of on the same path. Go find a friend who's on the same shit, and you're going to immediately, because everybody wants to fucking question everything. They're going to say, Jake, I don't have any friends. Number one, sorry. Number two, you don't fucking need it to be your best friend from school. Like, your best friend from school might not be on the same shit. Let's go back to that fucking resource we have. Go use the internet. Go fucking find somebody on the fucking internet who wants the same thing as you. Get their phone number or the 96 social medias that they have. You say, hey, you fucking stranger, we're going to hold ourselves to this shit. And you might make a lifelong friend because both of you are going to be better from the end of it. So go get a battle buddy for your New Year's resolution. That's my advice.
That's what I was thinking about doing. I wanted your thoughts on this, who I was going to ask. I was thinking about ice bathing every day for a year.
That's cold.
There's a guy on Instagram that does it.
Yeah, I seen him. I actually seen that guy.
He lives in Canada or whatever.
He breaks the shit out of his ice bath when it's
that dude's a little nuts, but
yeah, that shit's wild.
He's throwing a 25-pound dumbbell and it doesn't even break the ice, and it's like, I don't know if I'd want to get in there. Which he's smart about it and only gets in for X amount of time and doesn't. Too many people, I think, you're going to start seeing cold plunges are becoming a big thing where they're going to start doing it wrong.
Very wrong. Yeah. I'm already seeing it, dude. It's scary.
But I was going to have somebody else do it with me and be like, hey, like, and I don't necessarily always like the thing of posting it to social media every day or it didn't happen. But what it does do, because it's Caleb Scott. He lunged every day for like a year. And don't get me wrong, there's times like every day I'd see his Snapchat story and I'm like, here we go again. It's his lunges. But at the same time, he was like, it kind of kept me disciplined because it's like, I don't want to, it's maybe doing it for the wrong reason a little bit, but it's like you don't want to let people, or like because as soon as you don't post it to Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, somebody's gonna be like, oh, where's your lunges at?
Somebody will call your ass out.
And you don't want, so it kind of keeps you that discipline. But that's kind of similar to that. You don't have to post it to social media, but having that battle buddy, having somebody that's going through it with you, because I mean, we all have our days we don't want to go do it.
Most days. Most days.
I mean, you really think Goggins wants to get up every morning and go do what he does?
No.
Well, I don't know. He might be a little crazy.
Well, we don't.
But like, that's the whole thing of discipline outweighs motivation. Your discipline will always be there, and having a battle buddy keep your discipline when your motivation is not there is very beneficial.
Or building a streak like that. Like, try to do it for a certain amount of time. Like, I do like, bro. Okay, now listen. I've done the lunges. I do not recommend the lunges every single day to most people, but I have built a streak of them fucking lunges, and I went big time on that shit, and I was 500 plus days. Number one, I don't necessarily recommend it. Now, I know fucking there's some people out there that are pretty badass about it, but I swear to God, my legs have still not recovered from those 500 days. There is some science to recovery, so be careful with the streaks. But building a streak with, something you can actually recover from, it works. Build a streak, like build momentum on it. Now, something that is recoverable, I had a client one time walk a mile every day for a fucking year, and she is no longer my client. For the right reasons. She built that fucking momentum, and now she can go do that shit on herself. Every time I take a client on, I always go, hey, I'm really happy to be your coach. I hope I'm not your coach forever.
Yep.
And someone's going to be like, well, don't you want my money forever? No, motherfucker. I want you to go change your life. That's what I'm here for. That's why I signed up for the job. And she is no longer my client. And I do wholeheartedly believe that fucking year of making herself walk a mile every single day changed so much shit for her. There was days where it was a fucking blizzard outside, and she walked circles around her apartment complex because that fucking mile was getting done. And I'm like, you're a bad motherfucker for that. Like, you gotta build momentum. And she posted it every single day, and she would tag me in it every single day. And I'm like, hell yeah, you keep tagging me in that shit, because if there was ever a day where she didn't tag me, I'm like, yo, where's the fuck's the mile? And some days she would slack on it, and it would be like 11:30 at night. And I'm like, yo, you got 30 minutes to get your shit together. Go get that mile in. Find some accountability partner or build a streak. Those are two really great ways.
And that's the thing, is that is one of the simplest things you can do. Yes. We're not saying you have to go out and run 10 miles every day.
Right.
You don't have to take Goggins' mindset, but dial it down a little bit, especially if you're just starting. And you could drink a gallon of water every day. Start that streak. That could jumpstart into other things, and it keeps that discipline. Discipline and all of this is one of the biggest things. And discipline isn't a feeling. It's something that you create and you learn and you grow with. It's not just, it's there. Not everybody has it. Some people have more drive than others, but the discipline everybody's discipline has grown because of what they've done.
Mm-hmm. Just like we talked about that unconscious feeling of being in that fucking go fuck up full speed. Consistency is really what builds discipline. And discipline is this word that's being thrown around a lot. And people are kind of like, what the fuck does it even really mean? And discipline is just having that unconscious mindset of knowing what you need to go do every day, not having an emotional connection to it. I think that's the problem. A lot of people are very emotional when it comes to their decision making because I didn't sleep right all the way. I didn't eat the foods I wanted to today. I'm feeling this way. My job did this. It becomes an emotional decision. And when you build unconscious consistency, that's where discipline comes from. And real discipline people are just doing the things every single day that they need to do without thinking about it.
Yes.
And I mean, they are thinking about it. They're thinking, oh my God, I don't want to do this. But then they go do it anyway. So you got to remove yourself from the emotional connection. You cannot make emotional decisions every day and expect to be consistent because regardless of how even keel you are, how neutral you are, I really do subscribe to the mentality of this too shall pass. And don't go too high, don't go too low, stay somewhere in the middle. No matter how much you subscribe to that ideology, you are going to have days where your little inner bitch voice comes out sometimes and starts talking to you. And I think when you develop an unconscious, consistent, train of thought, that's where you can even accept the emotion of that little bitch voice and be like, this is just part of me and it's going to happen regardless. I'm still going to go do the thing. I'm not even in a battle anymore with a high and low. I do not sit there and think, okay, I'm going to go do this to combat the negative energy that came up because I didn't want to do this. I'm just doing it anyway. Mm-hmm. And I know that's really weird to put into words. It doesn't make sense to really describe until you feel it. And you got to go battle those emotions for long enough to go feel like you're not battling them anymore. And I if I was a lot smarter, I could say that a lot better. But you go figure it out for yourself. You'll go find it.
So what are your thoughts on creating, if it's something that you're going to do with a streak wise, creating a time, set aside a time for I'll do it at this time every day. Is that a good thing, bad thing?
I like that, but you need to be careful because I do see in the beginning people will start to self-sabotage themselves and it really pisses me off. So if your time is 6 p.m., you start fucking seeing these people do this shit, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I'm at the doctor's. What time can I make? I could probably do 5:30 because then I have an excuse not to do my 6.
Yep.
And they start to self-sabotage themselves, and you see it come back, and that's an extreme. But if you're going to set a time and stick to it, I'm all for it. Just be careful because just like we talked about jumping off the deep end with too many variables, if you start to make 5 p.m. your time, and you know that you're not the most disciplined person in the world, you're going to have beef with fucking 5 p.m., dude.
Yep.
And you're going to start fucking setting up shit. You're going to start, you don't even like your fucking job, but you're going to start working late so you can avoid 5 p.m. And then you have the excuse of, I missed my time. I might as well be done for the day.
Yeah.
Because motherfuckers do it like that, bro. That's the same mentality of I had one cheat meal on Tuesday. My diet for the week is wrecked. I might as well fuck off on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So be careful with the time thing because I know for a fact if you're that kind of person, you are going to sabotage your time. And then one sabotage leads to a week of fucking off. Be careful with it. If you're going to be real with yourself, be careful with it. But if you're going to set a time and stick to it, that's okay. I love how every time you ask me something and it's always the good habit building things. I've seen so many people try to build these fucking habits and they shit on themselves with it. So I'm always like, don't become a slave to your habits.
Yes.
If you become a slave to your habits and you stick to them, the human nature is to fucking blow those habits up and find a reason to not do it. But when you're just starting off, and we've all fucking been there, and you're the motherfucker listening to the podcast right now. It's like, that ain't me. I'd never do that. Well, even if you've never done it, you've sure as hell thought about it.
Yes.
Because that's just human nature to want to stray away from these things that we don't want to do. That's why they're things we don't want to do.
We want the easy, the comfortable road. We don't want the hard road.
Yes. And it's unfortunate. I wish we could say we were all fucking born as gladiators that want this nasty, gnarly, nitty gritty shit. But that's where the best of them come from is the people who are able to at least stick to it 90% of the time. Be
exactly.
A 90%er. So be careful with the time shit.
Yeah, that's why I ask a lot of these questions. Is I've seen the goods and bads from it,
right.
But I feel like there's more bad in a lot of it and then that's why I think people are getting scared to try these things and that kind of stuff. And it is a shame, but I hopefully this episode can help people realize you're gonna have naysayers, you're gonna have people to tell you you're doing it wrong, but there's not a right way to do anything. everybody's got a different route.
And I think that's what causes people to fail is they think that there's this one tried and true way. And, I see a lot of people get angry about this online, and it really makes me laugh. So, you know who Andrew Huberman is?
Yes.
What's the name of his show?
Huberman Lab.
Yeah, okay. People listen to that, and bro comes out with some great science, and he's a very, very smart guy. He's fucking smarter than I'll ever be. I'm just your average dumbass. And he's a very intelligent fella, right? He's going to bring you the information. And if you were to go listen to all the information he's brought you, you would just immediately give up because you're so overwhelmed. So if you listen to everything he said, according to him, these numbers are made up. I don't really know. According to him, every day we should work out for an hour and a half. We should do the sauna for 45 minutes. We should do the ice bath for 10 minutes. We should, time our protein to exactly 90 minutes after we wake up. We should limit our caffeine to exactly an hour and a half after this intake. This portion should be done at this time of the day. This thing, if we tried to do that, we would just all fucking go baby mode and shit our pants and give up on life. Straight poo-poo pants immediately. You got to be careful. Go listen to all of those things that he's saying you should do and try to do 10% of all of them. Mm-hmm. He's not saying do every single one of these things every single day. Do not miss or you're a piece of shit. He's giving you the optimal things in life. If you were somehow able to do all of this, it would be this perfect creation of something that you could never recreate. Again, go try to be a 90%er or be a fucking 50%er. Who cares? Go try to find a little bit of all of that stuff. Don't try to do all of it at once. I think just that strive for perfection, again, is what throws so many people off.
But the thing is, too, that I don't think people realize, if you do 10% of what he's saying, that can change your life by more than 10%.
Yes.
That 10% of what he is saying can change it by 50, 60, almost maybe even 90%. It can change certain things. It can change it more than you're actually putting into it sometimes. So it's not that chase for perfection. Stop chasing for perfection and just do what you can do a little bit at a time and slowly put that puzzle together.
Well, he's a coach as well. It's the same thing we just talked about with the football coaches. He's going to give you an expectation that's this high because maybe if you can get 50% or some of what he's saying, you're going to reap the benefits. So you do not have to do 100% of everything. And a lot of times that scares people out of the way because they think they can't do 100%. Want to know why? Because you can't. Yeah. You can't do 100%. Just go try for it. Fucking, what's the old nasty cliche? They always shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars. That's true. And fucking, I'm pulling out Dr. Seuss cat in the hat quotes, but that one's true. I'm the most unorthodox trainer in the world, but I will pull out some of those old school little things here and there.
And the same is true. I highly recommend people go listen to the Gary Brecka episode with Rogan. It's the things he talks about. He was the guy that, I don't want to say saved Dana White's life, but put Dana White on the path of not dying in 10 years. But he is another Huberman type where he's so smart and things he says, you're just I can't even follow everything. But if you because he talks about things in certain foods that you shouldn't eat that are there's actually things in tap water apparently that are making people their IQs lower in cities and stuff like that. If you were just to cut out certain things, it can change your life exponentially instead of just doing a little, instead of trying to do it all. But I think just for time's sake, since I do have a basketball game to get to, unfortunately, not unfortunately, it's my niece. I enjoy it.
Little ballers, bro. You got to watch the little ballers. We've all seen a youth basketball game. We know how it goes.
I got 2 of them today. I got back-to-back that I'm going to go to.
Double header.
Yeah. But this kind of leads us into Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday is the point in the episode where I allow guests to give the Roughnecks listeners a little inspirational bump to set the tone for their week. This might come out on a Wednesday, so it might be to get through the rest of your week, but it may come out on Monday. I'm not sure yet. What do you got for Motivation Monday?
Again, we're shitting on Mondays. Get the Monday out of here. Put this out on a Wednesday.
All right.
Let's call it Hell Yeah Hump Day. Right? It's fucking Hell Yeah Hump Day, boys. Cole did tell me to have a Motivational Monday ready, and you know what? I think my brain is full of these at all times, so I didn't really have to think of these. I did not plan for one, but I will tell you what's on my brain right now for Hell Yeah Hump Day, or Motivation Monday, or fucking Take a Shit on Life Tuesday, or whatever the fuck. Who gives a fuck what fucking day it is, man? Go get some. What we're trying to do today is my Motivation Monday is don't be an all-time victim. I'm sick of seeing y'all out here playing all-time victim, right? Y'all want to be all-time quarterback as a kid. You grew up to be all-time victim. All right. Every single situation, you're finding a way to be the victim in life. Want to know why? Because it's easy to be the fucking victim nowadays, man. It's easy to just be the person who's always getting beat up. I can never catch a break. This never works out for me. Guess what? It doesn't work out for a lot of us. The people who find success on the other end of adversity are the people who are not willing to be an all-time victim. We're willing to take our losses on the chin and go find a way to not lose that same way the next time. Don't be the guy or the gal, whoever you are, that's always succumbing to pressure, falling under the rocks, getting piled on, and becoming in a constant state of victim mentality. You will never, ever get anything done. I swear to God, if I see one more person say it's this person's fault, it's this person's fault, it's because of the way I grew up, it's because of my circumstances, I couldn't get this done because my mom never did this for me, I couldn't do this because my first girlfriend fucking broke up with me and broke my heart in the 3rd grade. It is not these people's fault. What you're not realizing is you are blessed with those opportunities. Every single thing that you run into in life is an opportunity to develop yourself further, but you're choosing to do the opposite. You're choosing to let those moments define you rather than letting your character define you. And good character comes from those people who take failures, lessons, and losses and turn them into something they can grow from. When you meet someone in the world who's very worldly, they've seen a lot, they're a smooth fucking talker, they got charisma, and you can tell they got shit figured out, it's because they've seen a lot. You cannot fake worldly. You cannot fake experience or reps. There is no faking that, and if you do, we can see through that shit. We see right through that facade. Mm-hmm. Don't be an all-time victim. Go be a fucking all-time all-star and make something happen, man. I'm sick of that shit.
I do. It is getting annoying, and we've all been there where, like, I can't catch a break.
Yeah.
And, like, we play the victim card. You don't think Goggins did that. You don't think Jocko did that. All of these people that you look at that are very successful in life, they all at one point were probably like, I can't catch a break. But there comes a point when you have to say enough is enough. Right. Nothing's going to change unless something changes.
Right.
And that something changing stems from you. Nobody else is going to give it to you. It stems from you saying, you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to do this for myself. Right. I'm not letting everybody else play the factor. I'm not letting the outside factors play in. I am the factor. You are the factor. The internal factor is you. You can't let everybody else determine it for you. It's your book. Write your own story.
What do they call it? Ultimate accountability or something? That's a phrase from one of those two people that you just brought up. And it's always taking responsibility for everything, regardless if it was your fault or not.
Yeah.
Because the ones that are your fault, you end up taking responsibility for, and that's the right move. And the things that aren't, you take responsibility for it as well. And either you correct the situation or the person's fault that it was is able to see you lead by that example. And the next time they're in that situation, they'll be able to do the same and have that same ultimate accountability. The difference between those people that you just brought up and the all-time victims that we're talking about now is that the people who came out on the other side of that into greatness probably were actually real victims of bad circumstances, and they chose to come out on the other side. You, playing all-time victim over here, have never dealt with anything real in your life because every little problem you blow up into this massive, massive thing that crumbles you. When you don't play all-time victim and you take your fucking circumstances on the chin, you continue to run into greater things. It's just like we talked about with working out. You're playing a game that you're never going to really win. There will always be a problem in life. When you accept those circumstances, accept those problems, you get greater and greater and greater challenges that you will eventually actually become a victim to. Mm-hmm. You might run into the Goggins situations where you are obese, you are a fucking fat, lazy piece of shit, and you got to get your shit together. That's going to happen. You might run into that Jocko situation eventually where you have led yourself into greatness. You are the leader of a great infantry squad in the military, and you are out there in Ramadi under the trenches in a situation where you have, that's real fucking victim shit.
Yeah.
He's actually a victim to those circumstances, but he doesn't allow himself to get crumbled under the circumstances. He rises to the occasion, refuses to be the victim, and becomes the victor.
I like that. And like that's the thing too. If you're playing the victim card and you catch yourself doing it, I highly recommend going and reading Goggins' book, because when you read that book, all of a sudden you go, "Man, my life's really not that hard." That dude came from shit.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't imagine going through the shit he went through. Even when he was pushing himself, he's still going through shit. Now, don't try and copycat Goggins, because you might die.
You will die.
Yeah, that's like. Do you know who Cam Haines is?
Yeah,
Him and Goggins, when they run together, Joe Rogan always says, he's like, "You guys need to set a limit." Because the problem is neither of you push each other, or you guys keep pushing each other, and no one's gonna quit.
You're gonna kill
so
each
you
other.
have to be like, all right, X amount of miles, we're done, no matter what.
No matter who says what.
Yeah,
and
like
then they're still gonna go anyway.
Yeah, they are. I don't know, but yeah, just look at what they're doing and try and like learn from their experiences and their things. That's the big thing: is learn from everybody,
right?
And also learn from yourself,
right?
But Jake, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
Where can people find and follow you on social media, and if they want to get into the new gym and get some personal training?
Listen, I'm bad at posting on social media, but it is a form to reach out to me. So if you want to DM me, which is really the only thing I use it for nowadays, Instagram is JP the CPT, JPTHECPT, and then the new gym is Matheny Muscle House. So you can look at Matheny Muscle on Instagram, see our new exclusive, individualized, only one-on-one training private gym in the Grandview area of Columbus, Ohio. Those are the two main sources. If you want to see the other show that we're a part of, that's the Sweaty Show on Instagram. We're going to have a new podcast format coming out shortly, so get ready for that. Those are probably the best ways to find me if you don't want to just have my phone number. So there you go.
I will put all those links in the episode description as well. But don't forget, we are having a sale going on right now on the website, 20% off on every item on the website. Send your questions in for Q&A Friday over to roughneckspodcast@gmail.com or message me on Instagram.
Do that outro, Cole. Let's hear it.
And you guys know the deal.
Ooh, I love it.
Until the next episode, which should be Friday, life is hard and is going to knock you down just like a bull does to a bull rider. Don't let that bull of life walk all over you. Get up, grab the bull by the horns, and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you like today's episode, then be sure to click that share button and tell a friend to check us out. If you want to keep up to date on all the things that are going on with the Roughnecks Podcast, then go give us a follow on Instagram at Roughnecks Podcast, TikTok at Roughnecks Podcast, and Facebook Roughnecks Podcast. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any time that a new episode is released. Until next time, grab the bull by the horns. Roughnecks